What's up, you guys, and welcome to RT Online. I think it's about time we talk about Sonic stuff here. It is 12:31 a.m. as you can see on the bottom right of my screen, and I'm not really that tired, even though I kind of am tired. I guess you could say I'm bored. Yeah, I thought it would be fitting to talk about one of my favorite franchises for Ryan is Bored 100. I feel like I can get passionate about things related to Sonic very easily. So even though the energy might be low, depending on what characters we get to, maybe the energy will get high. I didn't change anything in this tier list. This is just how I found it. Yeah, S plus to S. So they have pluses and minus on this tier list. I guess that's a good way of separating it, giving a good justification as to where things are ranked. I'm gonna play some music in the background. Sonic music. All right. So awesome, favorable, and are very respectable is S minus to A, and then A minus to B is not exactly my favorites, but nevertheless pretty good. B minus to C is decent. C minus, meh, bland, and or lackluster characters, like someone you wish elaborated a little more on, which I can think of one character off the top of my head that fits into that category that makes me very upset that they're probably going into there. D to D minus. Sorry, but you're really not it, Chief. D minus to E. I don't like you for several reasons. Someone that I'm a little more passionate about disliking. F. Y'all heavy misses and hard passes. And A is undecided, which is where most of the comic characters are going to go because I don't read all of the comics. I play the games mostly. I've read a couple of comics, but I haven't like invested myself. And neutral, I guess, is someone where I'm like, I'm not sure if I like them or dislike them. I'm just going to say I have a neutral stance on them. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to go in like generic order of top to bottom like I did with the Pokemon one. Let's just grab someone out of the bucket. E102 Gamma. Okay. So Sonic Adventure means a lot to me as a game. It was the game that turned me to Sonic. It was the game that made me want to be a Sonic fan and made me a Sonic fan. I got the game because I wanted to be a fan, and then after I finished the game, I was a fan. I don't know if that makes sense. E102 Gamma is a very interesting character because they only have an appearance in one game, but their story is so fleshed out in that game for no reason. I What's crazy is I think Gamma is awesome for that reason. Awesome, favorable, and very respectable. Spoiler alert for a lot of the games, because I'm going to actually delve into why I like these characters a little more. I'm going to be a little more detailed about it. So Gamma goes rogue against Eggman after being saved by Amy from getting destroyed by Sonic. Uh, Gamma starts feeling passion for remaining alive and questions what it means to be alive. At this point, all of Eggman's robots still have animals inside of them, and that's what Gamma truly is an animal on the inside, is a bird, and Gamma's friends are being mistreated by Eggman. And Gamma sees that, and so Gamma's mission, after being saved from the egg carrier crashing, is to save his friends. Um, and by saving his friends, he's destroying them. On the outside, it looks funny. You're like, oh my god, Gamma wants to save his friends. He's killing them. Not necessarily. He's freeing his animal friends from captivity by being stuck in their metal chassis. And it's so compelling. And of course, his story ends by he himself being freed. Whether or not Beta intentionally killed Gamma to set him free because he realized what his mission was, because Beta doesn't say anything when Beta's in his final form. He's just there to kill. So I don't think that was the case. I think Beta was just like, I'm going to get this final blow on you. And in turn, Gamma had a happy ending. It's a bittersweet ending because, no more Gamma. He's just a bird now, but he's free. And it's such an interesting story for a Sonic character. And it's only in that game. Gamma never comes back. And I love that shit. If they did that for Shadow, imagine how different people would view Shadow now. I feel like Shadow is still a cool character, But imagine if his only appearance was in SA2 and he remained dead. And like, ah, we're not talking about Shadow. We're talking about Gamma. S minus to A. I would say, yeah. Not exactly cream of the crop because, like I said, doesn't have any more appearances but Sonic Adventure. But the impact that he made was great. I'm gonna go ahead and give him an S minus. Strong impact on me as a kid. Strong impact on me now. I do really want to replay Sonic Adventure. I don't know if I would do it again for the channel. Maybe 100% run. Um, but yeah, that's my thoughts on Gamma. Since I brought it up earlier, I'm going to go ahead and put Silver into C minus. I really want to like Silver more. I love his design. I love his original voice in Sonic 06. Um, but yeah, lackluster is the word I like to think of. I always wanted Silver to come back as a main character after Sonic 06, but then Sonic 06 was really the last game where you had multiple playable characters, not counting Sonic Boom. I'm talking mainline Sonic games, because Sonic Unleashed you only played as Sonic, and then Sonic Colors you only played as Sonic. Sonic Generations you play as modern Sonic and classic Sonic. It seems like Sega was just like, you know what, let's play it safe after Sonic 06 was so crashed. And they had an interesting thing going with Silver. He's from the future. He has a strong sense of justice. And he's also very naive because he doesn't encounter many people. Like, I feel like he would be similar to Knuckles in that Eggman could easily manipulate Silver because he's so trustworthy, and that would make him like another rival to Sonic. He wouldn't be going after Sonic to kill him. Eggman would trick him into saying Sonic is doing bad things and I need you to stop him. Because Knuckles doesn't really have that dynamic with Sonic anymore. Knuckles is just Sonic's friend. Um, but yeah, I would love to see that. Even though Silver did go back to the future, I mean, time travel's a thing. All he has to do is get 2 Chaos Emeralds, and he can travel to whatever time he wants. Because apparently that's a thing you can do in the Sonic universe. If they did more with him, I know he's in the comics as a main character. He came back in Sonic Forces, but what the fuck did he do in Sonic Forces? I loved his fight in Generations. They made it better than it was in 06. But he just is kind of there now. And it's so disappointing. I want to see more done with Silver. I want to see him be a main character again, not just one of Sonic's friends that are just they have a line or two. And he gets destroyed by Infinite and Forces too. That was just so sad to see. Because Silver, I would love to see Silver like seriously fight Infinite. That'd be a cool fight. All right, let's think about this a little further. I'm gonna rank you later, buddy. Jet the Hawk. Okay, so I've played Sonic Riders, and I've played Sonic Riders Zero Gravity. I didn't play Sonic Free Riders, so I'm not too familiar with Jet's new voice actor. I have heard it. Um, he sounds like a wimp now, but I'm going off like original Sonic Riders Jet. He's pretty cool. Also voiced by Jason Griffith, who was the voice of Sonic and Shadow at the time. Man, he was a busy man, but he's a very talented voice actor. Um, I like Jet. I would say Jet is decent. He was only in the Riders games. All the Babylon Rogues were exclusive to Riders, and I think that was for the best because they're all about the extreme gear. That's what they were called, was extreme gear, which I think is pretty cool. Um, yeah, not just the games itself, but I think just Jet introduced as another rival to Sonic was pretty cool because Shadow didn't really play a part in the original Riders. So Jet was kind of like the shadow of that game. Like the first cutscene, you see the Babylon Rogues in, they're stealing something, and Jet ends up passing Sonic and like actually beating him in a race and like getting him off his board. And Sonic has like motivation to get better than him. Yeah, Jet's pretty cool. And that's about it. All I really have to say for Jet. Um, let's go to Chaos. So this is when lore starts becoming a thing in Sonic, also in Sonic Adventure. Um, so Chaos, the god of destruction, was at one point a peaceful protector of the Echidna tribe. It wasn't until they started getting greedy. I think the God of Destruction isn't actually Chaos's real title. I think that was given to them from the mural. I think Eggman learned about Chaos through the mural, which was made by the Echidna tribes. This is just me guessing. I don't think it's true, but I think Chaos was just a peaceful guardian that had the power to stop any threat with the Chaos Emeralds. And the threat was the Master Emerald being used for no good. So Chaos ended up destroying the Echidna tribe along with Tikal. But I think Tikal, before she died, sealed herself within the Master Emerald with Chaos. And it wasn't until the Master Emerald shatters into pieces that Chaos is free and Tikal is free in that red orb form. And that kicks off the whole story. Chaos doesn't say anything, Chaos is mute, but you kind of understand why Chaos did what he did. Eggman was force feeding these emeralds to Chaos and just had this power. I don't know what else Eggman did to make Chaos fight for him for so long, but it wasn't until he got to a perfect form that Eggman was unable to control him, because Eggman got too big for his britches. As a villain, I wish Chaos was in the series more. He's playable in Adventure 2 in the multiplayer mode, and Chaos data was used for Metal Sonic and Heroes, but yeah, he didn't become a mainstay. But I think his and Tikal's story came to a nice close in Adventure DX, just like Gamma. Chaos, I would say, is a solid B. As far as villains go, I had just enough of Chaos to where I was like, I don't need more, but if I did get more Chaos, that would be cool. And Forces let me down on that aspect. They had perfect opportunity to bring back Chaos forms to fight because Infinite made a clone of Chaos, but he ends up getting taken out by classic Sonic in a cutscene, and we don't ever get to fight Chaos. So, as it stands, I'm going to just consider Chaos not coming back ever. Like, I don't even count Forces, because those were just clones. That wasn't even the real Chaos. Chaos is just at peace now. And I like that. I like that ending for Chaos. Satisfying villain arc in that game. Let's talk about Big the fucking Cat. I I hate his fishing levels in Adventure, but oh my god, he's so much fun in Sonic Heroes. And I really like racing as him in Sonic All-Stars Racing. The Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. He was in that one. He wasn't in Transformed. That would have been sick if he came back and Transformed. Um, Big the Cat's just a big meme now. He did come back in Team Sonic Racing. And he has new dialogue in that game too. There's actually a lot of dialogue in Team Sonic Racing. Um, but yeah, I think Sonic Team has just embraced the fact that Big's a meme. But considering his first appearance was also Sonic Adventure, which is a game that means a lot to me, I have a soft spot for Big, but I still have like that teetering hatred for him. You can kind of see it in my Sonic DX playthrough on my channel. I struggle with his levels so much. No matter how many times you play him, you just can't get them to be consistent. And man, that was just, I don't know. I like him in other aspects, but when it comes to his first appearance, it's not a strong impression. I'm gonna go ahead and put him under Silver, and I can't put him in D because he makes me laugh. I mean, at least that's something. But yeah, Big the Cat's okay. I understand the memes. He's fine. It's whatever. Um. Oh, Gamma. First introduced in Sonic Heroes as Team Dark's power character. Totally hell bent on destroying Eggman. Had the same voice as Big at the time, which I thought was pretty cool. Um, as he went on, he just kind of phased into more and more of a background character and was utilized less. I his '06 voice was just hilarious to me, but he wasn't very impactful in the story in that game. He did do his best to save Shadow at points, but yeah, I don't know. He's just there in forces. I didn't really feel anything. Like his new voice is cool, but his original appearance in Heroes is what I think about when I think about Gamma being incredibly cool. Like his voice lines like annihilate, charge, fire, and just must defeat a bro. Like it's pretty cool. Um yeah, I would say I think Gamma's had more of an appearance in Silver, and I wanted to see more from Silver, but what I got from Gamma was cool, so I'm going to go ahead and put him above Jet the Hawk because he's a more significant character. Whereas, like, Jet's significance is limited to few games, which makes his impact a little stronger because you don't see him as much. Whereas Gamma is kind of like, oh, he's going to be in the games from now on. Let's talk about one of the big ones, like uh should we go for wait, why is Zavik here and here? Is this just the Deadly Six as a whole? Okay, let's just rank the Deadly Six as a whole. As a unit, as a threat. I don't I don't like you for several reasons. Yeah, I think that's a very fitting spot for them. They all of their personalities are so fucking generic. Like Zavik, evil. Zaman, stupid. Uh, Xena, girl. um, God, I can't even remember the others' names. They're just forgettable villains. Um, I remember Sonic Dash had the really skinny pink one. What was his fucking name? I can't. They all start with Z, but yeah, you had to fight that guy, and his boss fight wasn't that fun. He just has a giant spiked ball. Zikin Miaz, I think, was the old one. Yeah. As a group, they're entirely forgettable. Um, they never came back in a main series game because I guess they're just a part of the Lost Hex. They did come. Zavik came back in Team Sonic Racing for whatever reason. I think Infinite would have been a better choice, but whatever. Yeah, and Deadly Six is just lack. I'm not even gonna put them in lackluster. I'm just like I don't like them. They're generic. They don't feel like Sonic characters. They feel like comic characters. Actually, I feel like they'd do better in the comics. What is her name? What? Wait. Tails is right there. He's angry, and Tails is right there, and he's also angry. Why are there multiple Tails? Is Sassy Tails? Then why is there two Amy's? This tier list is weird. Um, I was trying to see if there was Infinite twice because I remember seeing another. Let's talk about Infinite. Banger theme, absolutely weird character. He was a jackal that got called weak by Shadow and decided to become a part of Eggman's experiments with the Phantom Ruby, and I guess now he's overpowered, but not really because Sonic kind of beats him no problem. But it still pisses me off that he beats Silver like nothing. But Infinite's got a cool design. I would love to see Infinite come back as just like his own character. Not really. He kind of did his own thing in Forces, but he was still like under Eggman by a technicality. I'd like to see him as his own force, like having his own motivations. Like to get stronger is his goal, not to take over the world. So like him being like a constant enemy that just shows up and is like, I want to see how strong you are, and if you defeat me, I'll help you. But if you lose, then I'll destroy you. Like he just challenges you to random shit like rock paper scissors. I don't know. I would love to see Infinite come back though. I'm so surprised that Team Sonic Racing never got DLC. Like we didn't get Cream the Rabbit, we didn't get Infinite, we didn't get like fucking this guy, Charmy B, SBO. We didn't get them. We didn't get the call. We didn't get Classic Eggman. No DLC for Team Sonic Racing. That game should have had better longevity, but whatever. Infinite's decent. I'm gonna put him like above Jet because I do want to see him come back. I've even drawn Infinite once. I like his design. I think his design's cool, even though it's edgy as fuck. I like it a lot. Is this so? Sonic X Amy, regular Amy, classic Amy, boom Amy. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of Amy's. Why is Sonic X Amy in here? Because there's just like random Sonic X characters, but there's not Sonic X Sonic. That's so weird to me. Let's just rank Amy as a whole. We'll do Boom Amy separate, but all the other Amy's are the same as far as I'm concerned. Like this Amy is the same as this Amy because they both love Sonic. Um, mm, Frontiers is getting me excited. I feel like Amy's gonna have a bigger role for once. I know Sonic's trying to save her, but like I'm wondering why the enemy is capturing Amy specifically. It feels like a trap for Sonic, but I don't know. I do want to see more dialogue scenes with Sonic and Amy. Sonic Unleashed made me really like this as a pairing, Sonic and Amy. There's a path you can choose in Sonic Unleashed where you can like get Sonic to say yes to going on a date with Amy. It doesn't happen, but her reaction is just so wholesome, and then like I just love that. I don't like the forceful Amy like in Heroes where she's like, Sonic, there's no way of getting out of marrying me. I don't like that forceful Amy. I like the wholesome Amy. And I feel like we're gonna get more wholesome Amy as we go on for the main Sonic series. Um, yeah, I'm excited for Sonic Frontiers. Of course, it's gonna be a playthrough on RT Online. Um, yeah, not exactly my favorite, but nevertheless pretty good. I am excited to see where she ends up on this tier list going forward. I'm glad she's got a prominent role in Frontiers. Let's hope that they don't ruin it. Because Sega is very good at ruining things. Just look at Sonic Origins for Steam. Holy cow. Maria Robotnik. Neutral. I'm gonna go ahead and put her as our first neutral because she's a key component for Shadow's arc, space colony arc, if you will, in Sonic Adventure 2. But other than that, I don't really get anything from her. Um, she does appear again in Shadow the Hedgehog. For some reason, she's a lot younger than she appears to be in SA2. I think it was just the human models were weird in Sonic Adventure 2 that made her look older. But it was also her voice actress. Her voice actress in the English version sounded much older. I think in Japanese, she sounds really young. So I think she was the same age there as she was in Shadow the Hedgehog. It's just that the model was different. So I got the impression she was really young. She had a really big impact on Shadow's character, and yeah, I respect her for that. But I'm not crazy about her, but I also don't dislike her because she serves her purpose. She was there to die. Like Sonic characters can die. There's very few that do die. Oh, speaking of characters that die, is Chip on here? Oh, I'm gonna be so upset if Chip's not on here. I want to talk about Chip. Very passionate about Chip. Maybe I'll use one of these extra Tails images as Chip if he's not on here. He's not on here. That's upsetting. Why do they have fucking Wally the Walrus on here but not Chip? That pisses me off. Sticks the Badger. Who do I want to talk about next? Am I done with my opinions on? Yeah, Maria Robotnik wasn't really that hard of a one to talk about. Kicking ass fast. Alright, let's get the other Babylon rogues out of the way. So, Wave the Swallow and Storm the Albatross. I honestly think Wave is a miss. I don't really get much from her. She's about as generic as the Deadly Six, but I think she's a bit worse. I don't know. I don't like her design either. Purple's a cool color, but she doesn't wear it that well, and she's got weird glasses. And God, I have such vague memories of them in Sonic Riders because I played Sonic Riders like so long ago. I had a strong impression of Jet. I didn't like Wave that much. Storm was Storm had some cool moments with Knuckles, and like him being a rival to Knuckles, I thought was pretty cool. Um, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna go ahead and put Storm in like a high D, maybe a C minus, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put him in D for now because he's also pretty generic. And if I'm gonna flack Wave for that, I gotta flack Storm for that too. Jet at least had some like layers to him because I didn't really get that he was a bad guy. I just get that he was really cocky. Um, so that made him have friction with other cocky characters, which I thought was funny. Because Sonic's pretty cocky himself, but he's still a hero for the most part. Is that another Sonic? What the fuck? There's so many comic characters that I just like. I don't even know about. Oh god, Chris Thorndike. It's a miss. If y'all seen Sonic X, if y'all seen the fucking space arc and how much Chris ruins things for Sonic characters, he just is not worth it. Man, I don't even know if I want to spoil Sonic X in here, but Chris like deliberately ruins Sonic's chances of going home because he wants to keep Sonic as a friend. Like a selfish motherfucker he is. I know he's a child, but he doesn't change the fact that he's selfish. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Princess Elise of Soliana. Since we're listening to the Sonic 06 soundtrack right now, I don't know. When I was young playing Sonic 06, I felt compelled to save Elise because I looked up I liked Sonic a lot, and Sonic was so compelled to save her. But where does that leave her character? So she's devoted to Soliana. She loves her father. Her father placed a curse on her unwillingly, and she can't cry. But her father drilled into her head, crying is a sign of weakness. You shouldn't cry no matter what happens, even if I'm like gone randomly. Because her dad died when she was asleep. I think that's fucked up. She wakes up and she's just like, oh, I'm not allowed to cry because that was what my dad left me with. And she was a kid when he died. The fact that she didn't even release Iblis once the whole time until Sonic died was crazy. Oh yeah, Sonic dies in Sonic 06. Some Call Me Johnny pointed it out in his review of Sonic 06 where he's like, you know when you laugh too hard and you have tears coming out? What if she laughed too hard and that released Iblis? Because it, the specifics of breaking the Iblis trigger was that if she cries, but is it considered crying if there are tears coming out of your eyes, or is it just a strong feeling of sadness while you have tears in your eyes? And when Johnny pointed that out, I was like, yeah, that is fucking stupid. Um, yeah, there's a moment in the game where she's like, I'd rather die than get captured by you. And then Eggman's like, what are you gonna do? You gonna jump? And she's like, yeah. And then she jumps. It was pretty badass of her. The fact that she was gonna be willing to commit suicide rather than get captured again. But then, like, that's irresponsible as a princess because you have a duty to your country. So, like, who's your daughter? You don't even have a prince. You're just a princess. Like, that kingdom seems like it's gonna be in shambles if you died. So she seems naive. I mean, she's young. She lost her father at a very young age. Where's her mom? I have so many questions. They didn't really elaborate much on that. Sonic 06 was just a rushed mess. But what do I've been criticizing her, but I also understand that she's had a lot of hardships to go through. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in meh. I mean, she has her moments. I think we all do, though. She's only human. She's one of the very few humans in the Sonic universe, not counting Dr. Eggman. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and put her in a very low C minus. I'm tempted to put her into D, but after all that I said about her, I was like, yeah, it seems like I'm just fairly criticizing another human being. And that's what she is, a human being that went through a lot of hard shit. Zaz. Zaz and Zimbioke. I'm gonna call you Zimbioke because I have absolutely no idea what your name is. I'm still upset Chip's not on this fucking tier list. Let's talk about Team Chaotix. Their directive is tracking down your crimes. Okay. I liked SBO as a kid because I thought his design was cool. Thought ninjas were cool. All boys think ninjas are cool though. What do I get from his character? He's stoic. He's loyal. He's like, he could turn invisible. He's got a homing attack for some reason. I mean, it was heroes. Most characters had homing attacks in that game, but yeah, uh, kind of a side character from then on out. That's kind of the fate for all three of these guys. I liked it when he was voiced by Booker from Bioshock Infinite, Troy Baker. I kind of like his voice, and then he got replaced by with Matt Mercer, in Sonic Forces, and Matt Mercer's a fine SBO. Sounds a lot like Troy Baker when he does it, but I feel like if SBO had a more prominent role, I feel like Matt Mercer would be able to do more and like really go into the role. But I doubt Sega's gonna let SBO be a main liner in Sonic Frontiers. Maybe I'll eat those words, but SBO's decent. He's not really that bland because I think he's cool. It's a positive trait. He's gonna be in C though. He's not B minus. Do I like Infinite more than SBO? I don't really care if we don't see more of SBO, but I will be let down if we don't see more of Infinite in at least spin-offs. I don't think Infinite would make sense to come back in Frontiers considering that narrative already has a main villain, though it would be a nice surprise if Infinite did come back in like a minor role. So yeah, I'll go ahead and put SBO underneath Jet the Hawk. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk about the Vector, Vector the Crocodile. Probably my favorite of the three. He's the oldest of like most of the Sonic characters, not counting Big. I think Big's older than Vector, which is alarming if you think about it. But Vector's like the leader of the team. Might as well throw Mighty onto there too. I didn't play Knuckles Chaotix, so I don't know what Mighty's personality is like, but I did play Sonic Mania Plus, and that's I like playing as Mighty in that game. So that's a positive trait. But yeah, Vector the Crocodile, I would say is pretty good. I'll go ahead and put him above Chaos, but below Amy. He's got a funny voice. He has that classic meme, "Find the Computer Room," which has appeared in a Rhino's board. I think I have a pretty good Vector impression if I try, but I don't feel like trying right now. But yeah, Vector's cool. Uh, yeah, not many reptiles in the Sonic universe, but he's a fucking crocodile. I low key wish he was in more things. I'm glad he's in Team Sonic Racing and he's got more dialogue. I actually kind of like his new voice a lot. Team Sonic Racing was like really scratching my itch for more Team Chaotix representation. Espio and Charmy sadly don't have that luxury, but that's why Vector's above them. Charmy B though, Charmy B annoyed the hell out of me, but I think he has his moments of being pretty funny. I still don't think he's very good though. I'd say he's the weakest of the main three of Team Chaotix. Yeah, Charmy's not it. Aside from the generic point of being annoying, I don't even think his design is all that interesting. He, he's just got a helmet and a little jacket, and he flies around. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys get from his personality? Like, he was the first one to swing at Eggman when when he found out they got swindled. But that's because he's impulsive. He's a kid. I don't think he did it because he's strong. I think he did it because he was like, "Oh, it's Eggman. What is he gonna do? Flick me?" Because I'm a bee. Mighty's cool. I liked playing as him in Sonic Mania Plus. His stomp ability goes through springed enemies. Yeah. I like Mighty. Mighty's pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put Mighty in like C plus. Solid character. I like his design a little. Like, his design's all right. All right, let's talk about Rouge the Bat. First introduced in Sonic Adventure 2 with giant boobs. Um, Rouge the Bat was an undercover agent sent to foil Eggman's plans, I guess, but not really. We weren't really entirely sure what her mission was. She's like gathering information on the ultimate life form for Gun, and she wanted jewels in return. But while doing her mission was sabotaging Knuckles by trying to steal the Master Emerald pieces. To be fair, she doesn't really know that's Knuckles' entire life was guarding the Master Emerald, at least at the time. Not so much anymore. But she did end up returning them. That was a nice character arc. Her and Knuckles kind of had like a love blooming there, and they kind of flirted with each other like later on, but then 06 completely drops it. So yeah, they don't really have a thing going forward, but remembering that arc that Rouge had with Knuckles in Sonic Adventure 2 was pretty nice. Rouge's voice actress actually appears in Sonic Adventure. If you play the final story, you'll hear Rouge. Just pay attention to certain cutscenes in that mode, and you'll hear Rouge. She's been around for a while. Rouge is cool. Yeah, I actually really like Rouge. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm judging Rouge on her old appearances, and then I think 06 was like the last time Rouge was a good character, which was all the way back in 2006. What have they done with her now? She's she just she another background character with such good potential with other characters, and she's just not given the dialogue to do that. Sonic games have like a tendency to introduce all these characters and not really do anything with them, and their personalities blend together when they shouldn't. Like Vector was acting dumb at some points, which doesn't fit his character. He was acting dumb in Forces, and to that point, I would say that Rouge wasn't really acting like herself in Forces either. I feel like the last thing Rouge would do would be to follow orders, unless it benefits her. Being under Knuckles' command doesn't sound like something Rouge would do willingly unless she was paid. And I doubt Knuckles was paying her. I feel like they kind of forgot that Rouge had her own personality and just made her a generic girl. While Amy's gonna get redemption, probably in Frontiers, I don't think Rouge is gonna get that same treatment anytime soon. So for that reason, Rouge sadly is going at the top of decent. Because I loved her introduction. If we're just going off SA2 Rouge, she would probably be up there with Gamma. But Rouge in all of her incarnations is just ridiculously inconsistent. And it doesn't help that the voice actress changed like 3 times too. Because each voice actress just has a different take on Rouge. The original was the best though. I am neutral on Vanilla. That's Cream's mom. Last time we saw her was in Sonic Rush. We haven't seen her since. I'm not counting the comics, just talking about the games. But yeah, I mean, she's Cream's mom. Cream's a good girl, so she definitely raised her right. Yeah, she's a good mom. And I like moms in more ways than one. We'll just leave it at that. Speaking of Sonic Rush, Blaze the Cat. One of my favorite characters to play as in 06. Also, very interesting character in Sonic Rush and Sonic Rush Adventures. I've played both of those, and let me tell you, I love Blaze's design. I love her voice. I love her demeanor. I love what she stands for. What's not to love about Blaze? Oh, I know what. Sonic Team. That's what. After 06, she's just gone. I mean, yeah, she comes back in Generations, but dude, they do nothing with Blaze. They do nothing with Blaze anymore. That just makes me upset. But I still like her more than Amy, though. I do. I think Blaze. You know what? Fuck it. She's going right there with Gamma. She's had several appearances where she was actually awesome. Gamma's had one appearance. So, to be fair to Blaze, we'll go ahead and put, if this will move, Blaze above Gamma. She's strong. She's from another dimension. It introduced like the whole multiverse of the Sonic things going through, and it's not really that important to the games, but in the comics, I guess it's very important. And Sonic Prime is going to touch on that, which is a new Netflix show that's coming out, which got a trailer today. Blaze is a very cool character, someone I really like personally, and it makes me so upset that they don't do more with her. I'm sure the comics will satiate that for me, but I don't want to read all of those. There's so many. This I barely remember this character, but she really liked Tails and Sonic X. The fact that I can't even and Emerald too. Oh man, there's gonna be quite a few characters that I'm just gonna disregard here. Only the ones that I have like a certain opinion on that I'm going to rank. Am I gonna rank the Deadly Six as individuals? I don't think I will. I think I'm just gonna use what I said about them as a group and just leave it at that. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's about time. It's about time we talk about Shadow. Spoiler alert for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie, but I popped off so fucking hard when I saw that Shadow is gonna be in the next movie. Like when they were like, "Oh, we found this thing from like, I think they said 50 years ago on the that they found these papers buried," and I was like, oh, no way, no way, no way, no way. And then I saw Shadow's shoes and I was like, let's go. Like I literally said in the theaters, like I saw it with my cousin Jaden. He was so embarrassed, but I was like popping the fuck off. I was like, Shadow's gonna be in the third movie. And it helped that the second movie was like such a huge step up from the first Sonic movie. Like this second movie was so good, and then like to top it all off, we're getting Shadow the next one. I fucking love Shadow. I loved him in SA2. He was the first rival to Sonic, not counting Eggman, and like he did what Metal Sonic did, but with his own personality and flair. Like I'm the coolest, you know, or Chaos Spear. He had Chaos Control. He was the ultimate life form. Oh man. And then Heroes, his voice in Heroes is so solid. He his purpose was like further explored because even the other characters were like, how is Shadow still alive? And then you find out in Shadow the Hedgehog that he is the original Shadow. He did survive. He just had amnesia. So yeah, the Shadow is just, oh man, he's even really cool in Sonic 06. He has such badass moments. Oh my god, I can gush so long about Shadow. He's S plus character for sure. Definitely in my top 3 Sonic characters. I've had a really strong liking for Shadow, and I know that most people are like, "Oh, you're just an edgelord if you like Shadow," but like he's so cool. He was like one of my biggest advocates to be an ultimate as an Echo Fighter for Sonic 2. Like Sakurai waited so long to reveal Shadow as an assist trophy in Smash, and man, I held on to hope. I was like 90% sure Shadow was going to be a fighter in that game, and he ended up not. That made me sad, but it's all right. I mean, if he was going to be in Smash, I'd like him to be an original character, not an Echo Fighter, because he doesn't really fight like Sonic. He has similar moves to Sonic. It would be like a Villager Isabelle situation where they have some moves that shadow over each other, pun intended, but they're not entirely the same. I feel like his homing attack would have different properties, similar to how it is in like 06. But Yeah, we're just getting into Smash territory at that point. Shadow is a very complex character. He's very loyal to the ones that are there for him. Like, he's like, even if the world, this is a line he had in '06. He's like, even if the world turns against me, I will fight like I always have. And he's got Rouge and Omega standing with him when he says that, and that's so powerful to me because Rouge and Omega were like the first ones he met when he awoke from his sleep in Eggman's base. And I think that was the first interaction he had after he fell from the arc um, from Sonic Adventure 2. And so Rouge and Omega are like very strong companions for him because they were the first companions that he remembered making. It wasn't until he got his memory back that he was like, "Oh yeah, I knew all these people and I have history with them." But Rouge and Omega are like the OGs. Shadow's got a very strong sense of justice and he wants to protect mankind for Maria, even though mankind were the ones that took Maria away from him. Maria's final wish is what motivates Shadow to do good, even though he doesn't really do it in the best of ways. Like, I mean, he doesn't have to bully Infinite, but he chooses to because he's weak. I love Shadow. Shadow's so fucking awesome. All right, so let's talk about Boom Knuckles. um, I've seen Sonic Boom's TV show. I haven't watched all of it. I watched a good amount of it. I think it was when I was borrowing my friend's Hulu. I watched I think the first two seasons. Boom Knuckles is so funny. It's an entirely different character, and when you see it like that, he just shares the same name with the original Knuckles. And in that regard, I I like Knuckles. He's um he's the comedic relief. And I think every show needs a strong comedic relief. I like him. He's B minus. Cause yeah, it does bother me that they did make him stupid, but he's like somewhat stupid. He's not like dummy big stupid, but he is pretty dumb. Whereas like regular Knuckles is just naive and gullible. This one's just straight up dumb, like he didn't go to school. Um, yeah, but lots of solid jokes in that show. I recommend watching that show if you're a Sonic fan. It'll make you have a better idea of what the characters in Sonic Boom are supposed to be like. Like Styx the Badger, I got a pretty good idea of by watching Sonic Boom. And I don't think Styx is really it. Her voice annoys the hell out of me. She has some good episodes, but like she tends to be the cause of the problems in a lot of the show's episodes. Like she's the driving force of conflict. Like there's this one episode where they're trying to maintain a garden and Styx just keeps ruining it because she doesn't know how to maintain the garden. And it's like pissing off like Tails and Amy like to a high regard, and they want to like get rid of her. Like I know every show needs like a driving force of conflict, but Styx isn't supposed to be the villain. And there are more episodes where Styx is the root of the problem more so than Eggman in many instances. Like there's an episode where they think Eggman is causing problem and he's not even behind it, and I was just like, that's so funny. Like Eggman just kind of does his own thing, and like the first thing Sonic and friends do is like, Eggman's got to be behind this, and they're like, oh wait, no, it's Styx. Yeah, she's not really it. I like her design though. I don't like her voice. I don't know. She's like a weird hermit that just found Sonic and Friends. Tails, I forgot how much I liked Tails until I saw the Sonic movie sequel. Oh my god, they made Tails such a lovable dork again. Like it felt like Sonic DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Tails like all over again. Because Tails is kind of a coward in the newer Sonic games and doesn't really have a strong role. Last time I think he was like genuinely solid, not even in colors, but in Unleashed. I liked Tails in Unleashed quite a bit, but I love the Tails that just like looks up to and idolizes Sonic. And yeah, they're more of like equal friends now. Like Tails became kind of a smartass in Sonic Colors, and he kind of bounces back and forth with Sonic with witty dialogue. And I'm not really a big fan of that dynamic. I like Kid Tails a little more. And oh my god, there's this scene in Sonic Movie 2 where I fucking wanted to cry because it was so wholesome and sweet. Where like they're sleeping in that, like, I think they were like in this icy mountain area. It was like in another part of the world, and uh, Sonic puts a blanket over Tails, but like Sonic's not sleeping under anything warm, and so Tails puts his tails over Sonic to keep him warm, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute. Like, I haven't reacted in that way at Tails in a long time, and I was like, dude, Tails has such a good design. He's such a sweet character. And he's got badass inventions. He has great moments in the games. I love his moment in SA2 where like he thinks Sonic died, but instead of giving up, he's like, "No, I'm gonna fight Eggman," and he wins. I love Tails. Tails is above Blaze, but not exactly where Shadow is because yeah, they like Rouge. They ruined his character quite a bit, but maybe he'll come back in Frontiers and prove himself again. But yeah, Sonic Movie 2 made me rejoice in my love for Tails. And yeah, he was also my main in All Stars Racing Transformed. His kit was great. What can I say? Um, yeah, I love Tails. Cream the Rabbit. Uh, the first word I think about when I think of Cream the Rabbit is underutilized. Sonic Advance 2, I think, was her introduction. And then she made cameos in DX by like flying around the overworld, and then Heroes she became playable again. And then she was Blaze's friend in Sonic Rush. She wasn't in Sonic 06, even though almost every single friend was in that game, but I guess they didn't know what to do with her. And she was not there in Team Sonic Racing. I think Sonic Team just kind of forgot about her. Cream and Cheese. Cheese is her chow. And Cream is very polite. She's the I think she's the same age as Charmy. I could be wrong, but she's very young, and I kind of like how she latches on to Big and Amy, but also like trying to tell them to be careful, and she cares about her friends. She's very sweet. Cream is decent. I'm gonna go ahead and put her in C plus along with SBO. Underutilized though, almost in meh, but I do like her personality traits. I think she's just a good little girl. She's good. Metal Sonic, the very first rival to Sonic. Even though I didn't play CD until like much later, I was introduced to Metal Sonic in SA2 technically, but Sonic Heroes was where he was a part of the main story again, and he becomes a metal overlord. And they kind of went overboard and went full Gurren Lagann with Metal Sonic's design, but then they brought him back in Generations, and I like that classic fight a lot. And Stardust Speedway is just a good fucking song. I also saw the Sonic OVA where he's fighting Metal Sonic too, and I love Metal Sonic in that too. I love seeing Metal Sonic in animation, and I don't feel like the games do him justice that much. Metal Sonic is in. Is he in Team Sonic Racing? No, Metal Sonic isn't. He's in Transformed. That's right. Wow. I feel like Metal Sonic would have been cool to bring back in '06, but they didn't. Metal Sonic is overall pretty solid. He's not exactly my favorite, but nevertheless pretty good. I think Chaos has more complexity, whereas Metal Sonic is just like one of Eggman's main go-to robots to fight Sonic. Not so much anymore. We don't really see Metal Sonic that much, but Sonic Mania Adventures Brought back Metal Sonic in a pretty cool way. And Sonic 4 Episode 2, Metal Sonic was in that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I like his design. I like that he's stoic. I like that they didn't give him a voice except for in Heroes. He has a voice in Heroes. I don't really like his voice that much in Heroes. It's way too deep and like sounds like he's trying too hard. I kind of wish they showed the aftermath of what Omega and Shadow did with Metal Sonic after Sonic and Tails and Knuckles defeated him at the end of Heroes, because they kind of just picked up his body, and then that was like all we saw. I'm wondering if they would ever like reveal that in an interview, like what they ended up doing with him. Like they just repair him and set him free, and is that why Eggman doesn't use him anymore, or what? But like, what do robots do in the wild anyway? I don't know. I'm just going into speculative territory. I think my placement of Metal Sonic is justified. Boom Tails compared to regular Tails is a lot more comedic. He's a lot, definitely way more sarcastic too. But I find him quite charming. And a lot of the clips that I see have been like big memes for Tails. Like, wow, this wall tastes like dirt. And then a bunch of Tails clones walk up and start licking the wall. Or like when he's eating the soup with a fork and just laughing maniacally. Yeah. I mean, Boom. Boom was such a weird era of Sonic. If I'm gonna put Boom, Knuckles, and decent, I think I'll just put because Tails is funny, but he's not too different from his normal counterpart. It's just like himself, but exaggerated. I'm just gonna go ahead and put him in meh. He doesn't have that wholesome factor. He's just kind of a dick sometimes too. Um, Not above Silver though, but above Big the Cat, above Elise. Man, I put Elise in C. Wow. I do like Elise more than Styx though, because at least she doesn't deliberately try and mess things up. She was justified in crying over Sonic died, man. I was hurt when Sonic died too. Knuckles the Echidna. First introduced in Sonic 3, which I didn't play until much later in my life, because I was a 3D Sonic kid. I grew up on 3D Sonic. It wasn't until I got Mega Collection where I started playing the classic games, or like Gems Collection. Knuckles is cool. He's got great music in Sonic Adventure 2. He's got a great design. I like his purple eyes. Let's not talk about Ugandan Knuckles. He's not on this list. Knuckles himself is very loyal. I like what they did with his character in the Sonic movie as well. It's like a mix of modern and classic Knuckles, and I like that a lot. And Idris Elba just kills it in that role too. I still think of Knuckles' voice from like Adventure through Heroes, where he just had like a very "I found him, yeah, I feel good." You know, he's just like got a deep and like kind of an experienced kind of voice, but he's also like he knows when to let loose. He learned a lot by being with Sonic, and yeah, he's still naive, still gets tricked by Eggman. Um, in Forces, they tried to make him a war general, and I'm just gonna pretend that like he goes back to normal after Forces, because I think Forces made everybody in a kind of bad mood because Eggman took over things and nobody was happy about that. But I like Knuckles quite a bit. I think Knuckles is like I I really like Knuckles a lot, and the music in SA2. Um, Man, I didn't think rap would be the first thing I think of when it comes to Knuckles, but when shout out to Tomoyo Otani decided to put rap music in Knuckles' stages with Hunted P doing the rap vocals, and it's iconic. Everybody knows Pumpkin Hill. I'm personally a big fan of Wild Canyon, but I can't deny the undeniable bangers of Death Chamber. Aquatic Mind's good. Meteor Herd's good. Unknown from ME, SA1, and SA2 versions are spectacular. I haven't grown to appreciate SA2's versions of Unknown from ME until I listened to it outside of the game. Because in the game you can't really hear it. It's just like something is gonna be, I don't know what. Something is gonna be, I don't know who. While all the dialogue is going on. But the song itself is really fucking good. I really like a lot of the stuff in that song. I was just talking about music for a while. But yeah, Knuckles, great character design. Great character. Well, Ryan is bored. Ryan is bored. Um, Classic Eggman. Classic Eggman. He's just like, yeah. He's like the Clash of Clans laugh. The Diabolical brought him back for generations, and he had the same voice as Mike Pollock. I thought it would have been so insane if they brought back like the old TV show voice actor for Eggman to reprise his role as Eggman in Generations, but I guess Mike Pollock got the flex a bit. He did the same voice, so it wasn't really him flexing his talent, but again, he had dialogue with himself, and it was probably all done like back to back. So I think that's pretty funny. Um, Not much of a big classic guy because, like I said, I'm a 3D Sonic kid. So I'm gonna go ahead and put regular Eggman in neutral because my absolute favorite Sonic character is Dr. Eggman without question. I He's like the heart of the Sonic series now. Even outside of the games when they do like the Q&A stuff, like Eggman's personality shines like through and through. He's a villain. He doesn't he's got so many layers to him. He's like sometimes he just wants to do something like make an amusement park, or like he wants to split a planet apart and summon a raging beast to do Lord knows what. Just to build Eggman Land. Let's be real, that was his main goal in Sonic Unleashed, but he had Dark Gaia help distract Sonic, so he had time to build it. Um, he's incredibly funny in Sonic Boom. I don't even think Boom Eggman's on here. Yeah, Boom Eggman's not on here. But yeah, Eggman can also be menacing. Dean Bristow's Eggman really did the menacing lines incredibly well. And the evil laugh too. I especially love his evil laugh in Heroes, where he's like, "Murhaha, murhaha." Mike Pollock does a fantastic job. He's been voicing Eggman for such a long time. I feel like Dean Bristow would have still left the role at the same time as the other actors did, because when Shadow the Hedgehog came out, they got the Sonic X voice actors. So Dean Bristow, his final performance in Heroes was great too. But so iconic in the original adventure games too. Like, away before I make mincemeat out of you. Or like he held a gun to Amy, launched Sonic into space and nearly killed him. He's playable in that game too. Oh my god. My most wanted villain in Smash 2 didn't end up coming in, but I love Eggman so much. There's so much to love about him. Even even when he loses, he's just he's so likable. He's yeah, oh my god. And I didn't even think about this, but we haven't seen Eggman in Frontiers. I'm wondering if he's going to team up with Sonic again. Cuz this new villain, I don't know if this villain is in cahoots with Eggman. That would be so cool if Eggman teams up with Sonic. But I don't even know where this world is. I'm so curious about Sonic Frontiers, but I think I'm done watching trailers for that game. I think the last trailer I saw was the one where Sonic pushed that button. That was the last trailer I saw. I don't want to see any more of the game. I know I'm going to play it, so I kind of want to go in as blind as possible. Eggman is my favorite character, though. No questions asked. And then when I said top three, where it was Sonic, where it was Shadow was in top three and Eggman's number one. Sonic is number two. Such a big influence on my personality growing up. I um, I would always make friends with people who were like into Sonic back in the day because I would be so into Sonic myself. Like, I remember when Unleashed was in the like in development. I had that first trailer playing so often. Like people were like, "What's that game you're so excited about?" I was like, "Oh, it's Sonic Unleashed. It's gonna be the greatest Sonic game ever." And like I would hype people up to Sonic and get them into it. And oh my god, Adventure 2, I have so much hours played on that game, and Sonic is like one of my favorite characters to like impersonate too. Like I remember going on VR chat with a Sonic model and people were like, "Oh my god, you sound so much like Sonic. I thought you were using a fucking voice box." And I would say their username in Sonic's voice and say something like, "I'm gonna kill you." VR chat's fun. Sonic is such an iconic character, and I can't help but love him, even though he's had his ups and downs. I think everybody has them. You know, you're only a hedgehog after all. You can make mistakes. And you know what? I feel like Frontiers, I, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like this is going to be the bounce back generation of Sonic games. Like, after Frontiers does really well and people are positively reviewing it, I think Sega's going to have the confidence and start trying to do better with their games. Maybe update Sonic Origins so it actually works on Steam, so I can actually finally play Sonic CD fully. Um, but yeah, this isn't a review of Sonic Origins, it's a review of Sonic, and he's an S plus character, right underneath Dr. Eggman. Oh my god. I love this franchise, and you can't say you love the Sonic games without saying Sonic himself. He's the leading man. I wouldn't have it any other way. Let's just hope Frontiers just does great. This is just me talking about Frontiers so much. I'm gonna go ahead and put Ray the Flying Squirrel in undecided. I don't even know where he's from. Somebody in the comments will probably tell me. But I did play as him in Mania Plus, and he's got Cape Feather permanently. Tikal's arc ended in Adventure just like Gamma, and hasn't come back since, other than like a few, like she was playable in Adventure 2, like in the multiplayer mode, but Tikal doesn't really have a significance anymore. Um, mm, yeah, lackluster. I don't really get much from her. She's informative. She's helpful. Um, I don't know. She cares about the world. She cares about chaos. Chaos the character, not chaos as in like bad things happening in the world. I don't know. She's just meh. Um, I don't want to know more about Elise, but I do want to know more about Tikal. What the fuck just happened? Did I lose my progress? Oh my god, hold on, give me a second. Alright, so anyway, as I was saying, do I want to know more about Elise than I do Tikal? No, not really. Um, Tikal, if she ever did come back, I don't know why she would. Maybe I'll read lore about her or something. But yeah, as it stands, I got a meh impression of her. Boom Amy. It's the same deal with Tails, where I don't really get much differences from her in Sonic Boom. She feels relatively like the same character. And I already like Amy. But what does she do differently in Boom? I'm trying to think about that. Like, she has a triple jump. I don't know. She's so similar to Amy. I'm gonna go ahead and put her right next to Boomtails. She's good in the show, um, but she's not much different from Amy. And you're like, oh, well, then why don't you put her in A with Amy? Well, because they could have done something different with her, like what they did with Boom Knuckles, which is why I like him so much, because he's different from his source material. And since we're talking about Boom, let's talk about Boom Sonic. Um, Boom Sonic doesn't feel as overpowered. I feel like Boom Sonic actually needs his friends to get shit done. And he feels like a person who doesn't tolerate many people's bullshit. Feels like somebody who enjoys life when it's simple, but he will step up to the occasion when it comes to doing something important. Um, but overall, he's a lot more relatable, and I would say Boom Sonic is pretty solid. If I don't know, do I like him more than? Yeah, you know what? He's gonna go at the top of B minus, above Rouge, because I do like Boom Sonic more than Boom Knuckles. Yeah, I think I described it pretty well there. Um, why is there two angry tails and two angry Amy's? Oh, we'll never. And sadistic Rouge. I think that's all the characters. Am I still bored or am I tired? Let's talk about. Yeah, I think I'm done here. Um, yeah, I just like talking about Sonic. I didn't know what to do for Ryan is bored 100, but it was like so late at night, and I was like, you know what? Let's just talk about Sonic characters for an hour. So that's my tier list. Um, all the tiers have something in it, so that's good. Yeah, neutral, Maria, vanilla, and classic Eggman. Undecided for Ray the Flying Squirrel. F for Mrs. Chris Thorndike and Wave the Swallow. Deadly Six is in D minus to E, so I'm gonna go ahead and call them E rank. I'm gonna go ahead and move Charmy down so he can be our D rank, cause Charmy, I feel like what I said about him made me think I liked him a lot less. I like Storm better than him. I don't like. I bashed on Styx quite a bit. Styx is our D minus. Storm's our D. A bottom of C minus is Elise. That makes a lot of sense. I feel like what I said about her made sense earlier on. I'm not gonna reiterate. To call, yeah. Big, Big being above to call is just funny to me because I did like Big in the racing game, and then yeah, the Boom characters, unchanged, had potential. Had potential is the biggest missed potential right here is Silver the Hedgehog. I would love to see a solo Silver game. I've been saying that since Sonic '06. I want to see more of Silver, and we still haven't in the games. Cream being C, 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 C plus, C plus, C plus, B minus. Yeah, B minus and then B minus. B, B, A minus. Um, A, S minus, S minus, and then S, S plus, S plus, S plus. Yeah, that sounds about right. I didn't say the names all the way through, but I'm starting to lose my voice. So, thank you so much for watching my Sonic characters tier list. And if you disagree with me, argue about it in the comments. I'd love to see why your favorite character in Sonic is fucking Timothy the bunny rabbit, or Dark Sonic, or Zamom, or Angry Tails number 1 and Angry Tails number 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time on Ride Time. I will see you all next time.